Hi guys, welcome to our channel. My name is Jennifer,
I'm Brian.
and we are Posh Disney. So within the last month, we finally decided to take all of the travels that we've ever done together, which are a lot, and create a channel because we have family and friends who are either not on Facebook or
Twitter.
Or Twitter.
Or Instagram.
Or Instagram. Yep, all those things. So we thought we'd just create a community so that they could view all our videos, and then anybody else that's interested could come along on our journey. So that's pretty much why we've started the channel. And we came up with Posh because all of our trips are extremely expensive and what you would call bucket list Disney trips. Every trip that we go on, I pretty much check another box of some sort of Disney.
One-off.
Yeah, one-off. That's a good way of putting it.
One of the resorts, one of the cruise lines, one of the ABDs.
And being avid Disney fans, which I have been a Disney fan for my entire life. And I was fortunate enough to have my parents take me when I turned 12. And the reason we went so late in life was because we were actually waiting until my sister was old enough to come to the park and walk around and experience Disney and remember it. So at the time, she was 6 and I was 12. So as you can imagine, being a Disney fan my entire life, that was a really big deal and a really long wait. So after that, our family assumed it was going to be our, hey, it's a big family trip, we're doing it one time. No, we ended up starting to go on a yearly basis, and we live on the East Coast, about, what is it, like a 14-hour drive from Disney. My family never flew, and because it's more costly to fly, and so now I really don't like to fly, period. So we still, the two of us, when we go, we still drive.
It's more efficient. You don't have to deal with the luggage. You don't have to deal with sitting in the airport, missing a flight, missing a connection.
And a lot of the trips that we do, when we actually go to Walt Disney World now, to clarify, we're on the East Coast, so we go to Walt Disney World, are in DVC villas, so typically 1 bedrooms. So with a car, we can pretty much take whatever we want, and we spend a lot of time at the resorts because we don't worry about having to do the parks from open to close. In fact, because it's so hot in Florida, typically we come back to the resort midday, because there is no sense in being out in the parks from like noon to 4 o'clock. It's just painful.
Well, that's a tip for everybody, though, is go back to the resort between 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, take a nap, recharge, and then when they do the extended late night hours, if they're doing them, go then, because all the kids are asleep because they're burnt out, all the parents are burnt out, and the lines are way shorter.
Yeah, it's a great park tip. But besides the parks, obviously that led into joining DVC. So you'll see that in the content that we've already got up, we can
leave a link in the below.
Right. We've already stayed. We actually bought at the Grand Floridian, and that was in 2013. And we bought at the Grand because at the time it was the resort with the most amount of years. We're young, so I plan on using all 50 of my years. So it just didn't make sense for us to purchase at some of the resorts that are older because we wouldn't get the use in years.
Plus, it was a monorail resort too, so
very true.
That helped. So going to Epcot.
Well, going pretty much anywhere, being on a monorail is, I think, essential. Like, so yeah, and we'll do some videos later on about kind of the process of DVC, and I've got all of the paperwork. If people have questions, I can go over exactly our process, it was pretty easy. I'm sure you've seen in many, many videos, if you're interested in DVC at all, that they are a low pressure situation. So nobody tries to force you into doing this at all. In fact, our guide, when we went on the tour, pretty much said, take a week and think about it and come back and run your financing, and if this is something that truly will work for you, then make a decision to do it.
There's no buying it that day. It's not like the other timeshares where they lock you in the room and they don't want you to leave until you buy. They know once you see the product, it speaks for itself, and you'll come around to it on your own.
Right.
We did.
So, I've actually, when we did the tour together, it was the first time that I had officially done the tour itself. However, growing up, we were lucky enough to, we're old enough that we saw DVC in its infancy. So, unfortunately, our parents didn't buy, and we wish they would have, because buying back when DVC was in its infancy is just amazing. Just the pure value that is like 100 times over at this point. And again, we can get into that, like as far as prices per points and what resort is right for you. But again, they didn't know, because at the time
Nobody knew.
There
was 1-2 gates who had Epcot, Magic Kingdom. There was no MGM or Hollywood Studios, I guess. There was no.
Yeah, well, no, that park was just opening,
Yeah.
But there was only one DVC resort,
so
no one knew that it was going to blow up into this like amazing
thing that it is.
Yeah, like it truly is. So. Again, DVC is another purchase that, to me, I consider more of a commitment and a love of Disney. Just because we're DVC members does not mean that we are not doing other vacations around the world at all. Again, we don't have this content up yet. It's on the way, but we do have trips to another Caribbean cruise on DCL again.
Some of the Star Wars Day at Sea.
Yep, Star Wars Day at Sea. We have the Adventures by Disney London Nights and Lights trip that's coming up soon. And then I will be making a video at some point, but we are currently in process of last plans for Japan. So we are doing the ABD in Japan, but we are also going off on our own and doing about 5 days at Tokyo Disney Resort, of course. And we are staying at the Miracosta, so we are going to be overlooking the harbor in some capacity. And we're also staying at the Disneyland Hotel. So we will be vlogging that entire experience, which I'm excited.
Too.
Yeah.
How you even book the hotel.
Yeah, I mean, to book the Miracosta is a completely like crazy animal that is frustrating, and especially to anyone that is not a Japan resident. To be totally honest, their website is not very friendly. It's not friendly to anyone that isn't. I'm sure it's fine for if you actually are in Japan and you're a Japan resident, but any boards you go to, they'll tell you this is not an easy process to do at all. We had to be online 6 months out at 10 a.m. Japanese time, and even then, the website was crashing. By the time we got the room we wanted, we were both on our laptops. Both times, only one of us could get through. So again, I can go through that entire process if people are interested in that, because it's painful, but worth it. Do not get me wrong; it will be totally worth it when we get there. So yeah, like I said, this channel is, we basically throw money to the wind. If anyone has ever seen those memes where you're just kind of like, here's my groceries, here's my like living expenses.
All I work to go to Disney.
Yeah, I mean, you're just like, Disney, make it rain. Yeah.
We also have the Alaska cruise coming up too. That'll be next
Oh yeah,
year.
announcement. So we decided to go on the DVC Alaska member cruise randomly. So yeah, we are now doing that.
With the ABD add-on.
And yes, we did add on, which is new this year to ABD again, a embedded Adventure by Disney. So basically, they take care of, just like again, I can do a video about what's actually involved with Adventure by Disney, because a lot of them are land trips. The majority of them are land trips. However, they do have Rhine River cruises. So they have a few cruises that are available that are through Adventures by Disney itself. Those are typically out, like I said, in Europe and whatever. But they also, this new as of this year, so coming into 2020, they've added adventures that actually the guides go on the ships with you, and then they deal with all your port excursions. So you do not have to plan anything. Pretty much you're just going to show up and...
Yeah. No being on the website, no being on the phone, just show up. Your ABD guide says, here we go, hop in the van, hop in the car, whatever it may be. Takes you to place to place to place. We should definitely do a ABD one too and talk about that.
Yeah, so again, this is our intro video to say hi to everybody, because we realize that, you know,
A lot of slideshows.
that it's been a lot of slideshows. Well, here's why. When we started going on these trips way back in 2012, I am a very avid photographer. This guy complains all the time. Like, every trip, I'm taking thousands of photos. But when I videoed, it was very few and far between, and it was very random content, which I'm sure you're aware of. We've started to get some of the video footage that I've actually taken, but I am a huge photographer, so I go in and I get crazy shots of things that people don't think about. A lot of Instagrammable shots, honestly.
Ironic we don't use.
Which ironically, yes, in case anyone was wondering, we actually do not have Instagram accounts. I have no plans on making one, so all of my pictures are either going to be in slideshows on this channel or on Facebook. Me and Instagram, just not interested in it. So I know that sounds really weird since everybody these days is on Instagram, but I figure if I just have two mediums that I focus on, that my content is going to be more focused. So yes, if you're interested in my photography, it will be here. It will just be in slideshow content. I did just get a Nikon 7200, which is a it's almost the newest model of Nikon that's out right now. So all of the photography that will be coming up from Japan will be epically amazing. Don't worry about that. And as well as blogging, I will still be taking photographs. So that's not ending. Because again, that's just a passion of mine. I'm trying to think of other things. Again, this is just kind of an intro and a welcome to us.
If there's any questions on anything Disney, we've probably done it, and we can answer it, or know someone that has. But
yeah, we're very well versed in everything that's going on as far as Disney news. Just because we don't live in Florida or in California, it doesn't mean that we don't. I follow Disney news all the time. So I know what's going on. We experience everything firsthand. Another announcement, the Japan trip. So we'll be doing Tokyo Disney and Tokyo Disney Sea, but towards the end of the trip, we are going to be back in the U.S. and we'll be at Disneyland, and we are doing the Oogie Boogie Halloween Bash. Yep. So that's new this year. They just moved
over to BCA because Star Wars. So
yeah, because Star Wars.
Get people out of the park.
So that being said, we will probably do some footage in Star Wars. I mean, we'll see what it's like. Nobody knows what this is going to be
Right,
like.
4 hour
So
time windows that are probably going to end horribly.
yeah, so I mean, I'm. This will be interesting. Everybody's waiting to see how this is going to go.
Right. Is a stormtrooper going to take you out of the park in handcuffs if you overstay your 4 hour limit?
That'd be kind of
I'm
crazy.
hoping so.
That would be funny too. But yeah, so
Yeah. If there's questions on what AVD, DCL, you know, DVC, all the things. If there's any questions, we can probably answer them. You can leave them below, and we'll get to them one at a time.
yeah, and like I said, we are prepared to do.
We can do Q&As. If people have questions on things, we can answer them.
Prepared to do. Content. I know this is not as focused, but again, this is just an introduction. But I would be happy to go into focusing things. In fact, I think it would be fun to do a video discussing my D23 membership. I have been a D23 member. I can't say I was a charter member because unfortunately I joined right after the charter year, which frustrates me because I pretty much have been following it since its inception. But I am a gold member. I remain a gold member because I love the publications. And occasionally they do things that is interesting, I guess. Unfortunately, a lot of that stuff is down in Florida or in California, which is frustrating for a gold member that is not in the immediate Disney area. But they have sent me movie tickets to go see movies.
Was the Mary Poppins ones through them, or was that through?
No, that was so we got tickets to see Star Wars, and tickets to see Star Wars Force Awakens, and then there was one other movie. Maybe it was Ralph Breaks the Internet or something like that.
It was Ralph Breaks the Internet.
So they do.
The Fandango coupons, right?
Yes, so they send you and you have a good chunk of time to do it. It's not like it just expires right away. So you have a good 4 to 5 months to go and see the movies, which is nice because this is a paid membership. You as a gold member, so it's nice that they're just kind of giving back to us in some capacity. Also, I really enjoy all the yearly gifts that they do, and recently they've just been taking things from the Disney archive and make mock representations. So one of the gifts was a Walt Disney pen, that was signed by Walt. That was kind of interesting. They did some archive stuff with some of old school Mickey animation. This year, because it was the 10th anniversary, they did send out the pin set, which is really nice. But again, the publications that you get just in general by being a gold member are just amazing. The artwork that they show, the kind of inside stuff, I guess, if you will. The
stories from members, they always have those sometimes.
Yeah, the stories from the D23 members. So it's really interesting, and it's not super expensive to be a gold member, so that's something that could be kind of a more broad thing. And also because this year is the D23 convention, which that's the next content that should be coming up on the site, so watch for that. We have the 2015 D23 convention. They do one every 2 years at the Anaheim Convention Center. So again, it's coming up this year. Yep. We have some actual video footage from one of the amazing Broadway panels that we'll be posting. I have a lot of pictures and stuff. And then we did cosplay. So
Some
I have
photos from that.
I have a very elaborate Cinderella costume.
Pictures of other people we saw dressed up too.
Yeah. So again, that convention we went all I like my costume was super pricey and had it custom made and so just more things that we were doing as kind of Disney bucket list.
That may be a video too, just the tips and tricks for D23 for people going for the first time, because there was so many things we didn't know about, how to line up properly, or they say to line up at a certain time, but people lined up way earlier than that, but people were sleeping in lawn chairs outside the arena.
Yeah, and they've started to let people camp out in the halls finally, because it just gets to be a fire hazard.
Yeah.
But this is a D23 is a crazy animal. It's just like any convention that you would imagine
Yep.
a convention, would be like. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. No, that's pretty much it. Like I said, we just wanted to introduce ourselves because, again, we're doing a lot of slideshow music, but that's not all this channel is going to be by any means.
No, as we go forward, it'll be a lot more video,
yeah,
a lot more vlogging. The whole Japan trip will be, it won't all be video, but there'll be a lot more video. It'll be video of that, video of the Disneyland stuff, so maybe some Star Wars stuff, video of the Halloween parade.
Yeah, we're I will be videoing the whole Oogie Boogie party to give people an idea of kind of what it's like now that it's changing.
Yeah.
We'll be dressing up for it, so expect us in costume. Halloween is one of my favorite holidays, and anytime we've done two not so scary parties, which are both up now. So you saw us dressed up. And we do have a costume that we'll be wearing in Tokyo Disney because I'm not going to spoil it. But because in Tokyo Disney, unlike the American theme parks, adults are allowed to dress up the entire Halloween season. So the majority of dates. So yes, we have costumes for Tokyo Disney. Really, it'll just be fun to document a lot of the adventure by Disney itself, so you can see what Disney.
Well, this is the inaugural trip.
Well, this is the inaugural year for Japan. This is the first time they're doing this itinerary, so it's really special, and it's something that people were really excited and looking forward to. So going forward.
Ours will be the adult only though, so we won't have the perspective of people with kids at it. So. Yeah. It'll be a little bit different, but it'll still be the whole trip.
Yeah. So we to clarify, Adventure by Disney is a company that has a lot of family adventures. The majority of the adventures are.
It's like 95% of them is family.
Are with families, but there are about 3 to 4 a year that are strictly adult only. And what that means is you have to be 18 or older. To be considered an adult, and they do range. Just in case anyone is curious, they range in age. Typically, now again, we've only done one until we do Japan, which is our second. But we were probably the youngest. We had one other person that was younger than us that was traveling on her own. Yep. Besides, we had a family who brought their 18-year-old son. Yeah. But yeah, besides that, I'd say the ages that we had for London was
mid to late 30s was on the young side. Most of the people were probably in their 50s.
Yeah, like I'd say we were definitely on the young side. Mid 30s was
pushing the young side, yeah.
And we had up to.
We had some retiree couples.
Some retirees and what have you. Adventures by Disney are very active.
It's really action packed. It's go, go, go.
So one thing I would say about them is check like
Check the itinerary,
check
right?
your itinerary and definitely look up some reviews because you are literally on the go, like on the go.
Well, let's put it this way: when the guides are arguing over who has to be the one to break the news that it's an early morning that you're waking up, it's
Not
go
an
go
early
go,
morning, basically. No,
right?
yeah, they.
It's be at the bus ready to go at 8 a.m. and you got back to the room the night before fairly late, so you're getting your money's worth. It's not slow. You're seeing a lot. There's a lot to it,
Yeah, it's definitely like a lot. Um,
but in a good way. You're on the bus sometimes. There's a lot to it. It's a good value. I'm glad we did it.
yeah, and we're going to continue to do them, like we said. So be on the lookout. The Japan trip is actually we're only what would you say like 128 days away. So
About 4 months and change.
yeah, 4 months and change until we fly out. So um, it's going to be whirlwind.
And the new dates and everything else comes out later this month for 2020 as well. So that'll be
For the other
for the
adventures,
other
yes.
adventures. We'll see what's coming up. We know Egypt is the new one. That's the big one.
Egypt has come back after being taken away, probably for safety reasons. But one thing about Disney is we know that they will never take you to a place that's not safe. So one thing I can say about Egypt, I think the itinerary looks absolutely amazing.
It does look fun.
And it's something I would definitely go on. Now we can't because we're doing our cruise that year. So, but yeah, like I think Disney's handles everything really well. It's if you are a person that thinks that it's just going to be characters jumping around and
It's
pixie dust like everywhere. No,
no,
like
it's the
this is
total opposite.
yeah, this is you're going around the world and you're having cultural experiences.
What if it's the China one where you're at the Great Wall, or the one in Italy where we go to the Vatican, or the London one where we got to go to the Louvre. We went to the Louvre and we went to a whole bunch of different places. And we went to Notre Dame before it unfortunately burned, but
yeah,
you see everything. It's not theme parks and character breakfast. It's real landmarks that Disney somehow through their magic gets priority access to. There's no waiting in the queue to get in. It's pixie dust rains down and you just jump the line.
Yeah, it's very true. And we do like to say that when you travel to each of the different locations, which ABD uses a bunch of different travel, trains, motor coaches, like really nice buses, and they do internal flights. So again, check your itinerary as far as that's concerned. But when your bags have to be moved around, Tinkerbell is out and moving, and I didn't do one lick of carrying anything.
That was amazing.
And yeah, so
they put a thing on the door. They say, okay, so tomorrow we're going from London to Paris. So have your bags in the hallway by 9 p.m. You leave them outside your door. 9:01 comes, the bags are magically gone. You show up at your hotel, the new destination. Your bags are there. Everything's great. You don't have to lift a finger.
Yep.
How many they pick you up at the airport?
They take you back at the end of the adventure to your airport. There are pre and post nights and packages that you can add. Now, for the one more thing I will note in coming up in content is for the Japan adventure, they did offer a add-on to Tokyo Disney. But again, we decided against it because we wanted to do our own thing and stay at the Miracosta. And
theirs was only 2 or 3 days as well. It was shorter than the number of
yes,
days we wanted to do.
It was shorter than what we wanted to do. It was a two night add-on with it's weird. Tokyo does two night packages, right? But you get like an extra park ticket, so it's like 2 nights and 3 days. It's really bizarre. especially for the more popular resorts. Now, this might be a foreign thing. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is a foreign thing. I think if you're a Japanese resident, you can actually book more than 2 nights at a time or whatever. But for us, you cannot do that. So again, I probably should do a video kind of explaining all this because
It's a video in itself. You can
it's
go
a
on.
lot.
You can go on for a good hour just in the whole planning of that and how to do it from start to finish.
Yeah. I think
That's probably pretty much it for now, right? We can.
yeah, that's it for now. We just wanted to again welcome everyone to our channel so you got to know we're real people.
Yep,
We're not
we do
just a
exist.
slideshow.
Yep,
We
yep,
exist.
yep.
There will be much more content coming. We have content for days. Because we're not even done with our 2015 trip. So
we got years to go.
Years to go, like literally. And then once we get to Japan, we'll be vlogging a ton. And expect a huge Tokyo Disney merchandise haul. Because
that'll be a suitcase worth.
Oh, this is I will be mailing boxes and boxes home. So yes, expect a lot of Japan footage and merchandise and hauls coming within the next 5-6 months.
Because if people want to see specific things or have questions, that's where they're supposed to put in the comments what they want to see, and we can do that. Or
yeah,
let us know because, like we said before, we've probably done it. If you have questions, PBC, cruise line, Adventures by Disney, all those things. If you have questions, you've done it before, you have thoughts on it, let us know. We can always talk about that stuff and like and subscribe and all that too, so we know that people are actually watching and we keep on chugging along.
Yeah, so we keep bringing content.
Okay. I think that's all we have for now. So
yeah, pretty much.
We'll get back to more content, and thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you for watching. Nice to meet you all.